Welcome to Grace Pilled, where we have previously explored the infinitude of God by talking about God, within God. But today, in this bonus episode, I will be here with my pal and colleague Monica, yapping about social media addiction, essentially. But before we get deeper into what this episode is about, my name is Hanna, and throughout this episode and all of the other episodes in this podcast, I am your guide. And something to know about me is that I've been studying and practicing in a classical Shakta tantric tradition since 2015, and I just love exploring all of the ways that God wakes up within her own dream, including your relationship with your phone, which is what we're going to talk about today. For the last few years, I've been working professionally as a guide, doing one-on-one work, and also giving talks and courses. If you ever want to chat with me, you can book a call with me on my website, or join my Patreon, which is my massive library of Q&A sessions and spiritual talks, spanning everything from traditional tantric philosophy to how to spiritualize your emotions. I have several talks about emotional states. If you want to support the podcast, I have a $5 tier that you can use as a tip jar for the show, and I would really appreciate your support. Now, before I share about this episode, I want to let y'all know that this upcoming January, Monica and I are co-teaching a 4-week course all about your relationship with social media, screens, and technology. It's called Attention 101, Reclaiming Your Agency for Change. It's part social media detox bootcamp, part techno philosophy primer, part practical recalibration of your actual relationship to socials, screens, and any types of devices that keep you pinned to your couch. We're both very passionate about this subject. Monica actually wrote her undergraduate thesis on this topic. So if you loved conflict school, which we co-taught with each other earlier this year, you're going to really love this. I'm really excited to get back in the teaching saddle with Monica in January. We will be opening registration for the course last week of November, so in about a month. But anyway, what's today's episode about? Today's episode is a conversation with Monica about the strange and complicated world of digital spaces. We personify the platforms that we use every day, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, as if they were people, each with their own archetype and flavor, and talk about our personal relationship with these spaces. We explore how apps, social media apps, are shaping our culture, our attention, and even our sense of self and individuality and our own consciousness, from the pull that we all experience of wanting to just take a quick little peek at the comments section to the addictive casino-like design of social media apps that keep us emotionally hooked to our devices. Along the way, we talk about digital duplicates, which Monica knows a lot about, cancel culture, distraction, and what it really takes to build real boundaries with screens. This conversation is obviously funny because Monica and I are hilarious. It's sharp because we're sharp as tacks, and it gets to the gray areas of how technology can be both a tool and a trap. I think you're going to leave this episode reflecting a lot on your own relationship with social media, but knowing you, Grace Pilled listener, you already reflect on these things a lot, so maybe this episode is going to be the kick in the butt you need to really shift into gear some new habits around your relationship to socials. And if you really love this, you're going to love Attention 101, all right? Let's get into the episode. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you.
We're back in the digital space after seeing each other in person.
I know.
Wasn't that nice?
It was so nice. But also good to have the digital space as people who live many states away from each other.
That's right. And isn't that what we want to talk about today?
Sure is.
The digital space.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're going to discuss today is just digital spaces, social media, these sorts of things. And we wanted to just kick off this conversation with almost like personifying our relationship with social media. And I guess we'll just define that as like Instagram, TikTok. What else would you say it is? You don't go on Facebook, do you?
I kind of go on Facebook sometimes.
Okay.
Facebook is a little more like the people I actually know in the world, and also Facebook Marketplace.
That's right.
That's why I stay tethered to that. But Threads, love me some Threads. So, and I don't know, are people still using X
I think
as
so.
Twitter? Okay. So it could say all sorts of things.
Yeah, all
Reddit?
sorts of things. Oh, Reddit. Yeah, I almost feel like it's different relationships, though, because I feel my relationship with the so-called person of Instagram is different from TikTok, is different from YouTube Shorts. Oh my gosh, stop. YouTube Shorts is so unhinged.
YouTube Shorts is really, really interesting. Actually, I find it just mildly more tame than TikTok, even though they're very similar.
Yeah.
But to your point, like archetypally,
Uh-huh.
all of these
different
things are
flavors.
Yeah. Reddit for me is like the cool nerd who like knows a ton about what's actually happening in the world and is going to like blow your mind with the truth. Whereas Instagram is like the cool kid who like doesn't totally think being in the know is what's popular.
Oh. Yeah, or there's like some smoke and mirrors with Instagram where it's like it's
100%.
showing you what it thinks is popular, but it's not actually the consensus.
Yeah. And it has to be pretty.
Uh-huh.
Ugly stuff doesn't make it on Instagram.
Right. But TikTok is there's more ugly stuff that ends up on TikTok.
100%. It's a little more unhinged.
Less polished.
Yeah, maybe this isn't exactly how I feel, but if Instagram and Reddit had a baby, would it be TikTok? I don't know. Actually, it would probably be YouTube Shorts.
I think it's YouTube Shorts. Yeah, no, it's YouTube Shorts. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, it's its own breed. It's something different that all the other ones are actually trying to emulate.
Yes, totally. What's funny is I was actually really resistant to joining TikTok until 2020-ish.
Me too.
So
I think it's millennials have that experience.
Yeah, but it's a platform I actually really enjoy.
No, I go to TikTok to have a good time.
Yeah.
I don't go on Instagram.
No, totally. I also go to TikTok sometimes just to ask questions that I can't find the answer to in any other way, that someone has like made a video about or like a review of a thing.
Yeah, it's easier to find stuff like that on TikTok.
Correct. But all of it makes me lay down while I'm scrolling on my phone.
It pins you down and you can't move.
Yeah, I literally will notice myself like going to lay down in my bed and like kick my leg up to lay down, and I'll stop myself because I'm like, no. You will be trapped in this hole for the next hour if you do this. You have to go somewhere else and leave your phone in this room.
Oh.
So my relationship with screens is like, if we're going to personify that person, it's so interesting to think about because they teach me a lot. But I also like really need a break. When I was a kid and I would spend too much time with people, like too much time with friends, my parents like taught me like when you take a break from people, you actually like come back to who you are in yourself. And so if I put it in that context, it's like, yeah, wow. Screens are a little bit of like this person I need to take a break from sometimes.
Oh my God. Yeah,
in order to like stay tethered to myself.
The plot of Monica.
100%. Well, Instagram in particular tells me what I should be caring about.
Uh-huh.
And I think the internet has like encouraged us to be really critical of each other. Like I was just thinking this morning about like some piece of content that I could make. And I was like, and this is a thing I would talk about while I'm, I don't know, it wasn't actually this, but like shampooing my hair or something.
Yeah.
And what I think is so funny about that thought is I suddenly was like, and people would be in the comment section being like, don't you know that brand of shampoo is like really bad and like really unsustainable? And they would like not even be listening to what I'm saying because they're so focused on like the product that I'm using.
Why do you think people do that?
I would say it's a cultural thing that like the comment section has
The
encouraged.
culture of the comment section, or it's
100%.
the culture is in the comment section?
My answer is yes. It's both. I wrote my whole thesis. The inspiration for my thesis was what I was witnessing in the comments section and how people like interact in a way that they would never do in person. Or like they would pass judgment out loud toward people they have literally no background or what's like. Comment section is just like,
that's so funny. I'm actually just picturing somebody in the shower, like shampooing their hair, and then their roommate like walks into the shower and is like, "Don't you know that shampoo is killing ducklings in the Colorado River?"
Yeah. Do you not care about animals?
Yeah, how fucking awkward that would be. I feel like, okay, first of all, I'm naked.
Yeah.
So can you leave?
Well, and it's like a flavor of how they bring it up, right? Because it's not like, have you heard that, I don't know, whatever. I'm like Garnier Fructis, I don't know.
Oh my God, there's so many ways that you could do it. You like after your roommate gets out of the shower, and one way you could bring it up is be like, "Hey, I read this thing in an article recently about the brand of shampoo that you use, and I heard that it's having this negative impact. Have you heard anything about that?" Without like punishing somebody for doing something that they may or may not know is a bad thing.
Yeah, what you just did was invite me into your information and potentially your worldview.
Right.
Instead of like putting me in one of those like medieval, like my hands and head or I don't know what they're called. You're throwing tomatoes.
That would make me feel good for like 5 seconds and then it's torturous.
Yeah. Which my tech neck would be like helped to be in that thing for a second, but
all stretching kinks aside, I think that people don't know how to open up dialogues about how we can improve the world in a way that isn't like viscerally dysregulating and activating.
Yes. Also, man, it's like the culture of question asking. There's so many things that like merge in this topic, but like asking questions that you are willing to get an answer that you do not like. How do you deal with an answer that you don't like? I think a lot of, specifically Americanism, is like you ask a question because you think you know what someone's going to answer with. And God forbid they answer in a way that like you don't agree with or you don't have the same experience. Like, how do you handle that?
We don't know how to handle that. I think that's pretty evident.
No, people who have differences are your enemies.
That's the commonly understood feeling. I actually think a lot of people are waking up to how fucking annoying and immature.
Oh my God, it's so exhausting. I just need the leftist police to come into my house and do an audit of all the things that make me a bad person. And then maybe anything I say will be worthy of sharing.
Right. Yeah, they'll really be doing you a service if they do that. Yeah. And then you go to their house. Oh.
Yeah. Let's build relationships off criticizing each other. That seems like a really good idea.
Okay, so this is all feeling very relevant to the social media thing because you were saying when I go on Instagram tells me what I should care about. And that feels like relevant to this criticism vibe that we get in the comment section or in the way that people are talking about things, specifically on Instagram. It also happens in other places. But I think Instagram's particularly intense about it.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm also curious to hear like what your screen relationship is.
Oh, yeah.
And who that person is.
Yeah.
But it makes we're kind of like the next evolution of like boomers didn't have a place to just blatantly tell each other what you're doing is fucking stupid. So
they just put that to their kids.
Yeah. So the next intimate relationship that you get to express that to is people on the internet.
Right.
It's a little bit more of like the brain's knee-jerk reaction. Like literally your reactions are encouraged on screens and social media.
But wait, are you saying that you feel like there's an innate propensity in humans to like express their opinions about what everybody else is doing wrong? but we've never been given an outlet for that to just come so freely before. Like maybe we've always been like this. It's just like in a 3D reality non-screen world prior to 30 years ago, there was just no other option.
Yeah. Well, and you're exposed to so much more information now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's not like war is new.
Mm-hmm.
Differences have caused war and death and like bias for a long time. But maybe like the population was smaller, the information wasn't as available. And there's still some sort of level of like anti-intellectualism. So I just think general like psychological literacy, media literacy, emotional literacy, like all of those things could be at the forefront collectively, but we're kind of like always arguing about if that's important or not, or like if we even agree on what the research is there.
Oh, totally. Oh my God, that's like a whole thing that's happening. But on the note of anti-intellectualism, have you heard of bean soup theory?
I'm so interested. No, I haven't.
Okay, so the bean soup theory is, I'm going to botch this, but in so many words, it's like, you know, when you see a recipe online and somebody is like, I'm allergic to beans, but it's like a recipe for bean soup. And it's like, why are you telling us that you're just eat something else?
Mm-hmm.
And so that energy of like somebody is sharing something that's a specific form of knowledge or a specific message. And then somebody in the comment section is like, but this doesn't apply to me specifically. So why are you talking about it? And that whole phenomena is a form of anti-intellectualism, because if you like understand what it takes to express a researched point of view, everything that's like the but what if or the what about this is contained within the researched view. They're just not going to say it explicitly because that's a fucking waste of time. But everybody else who thinks that they're making such a good point are actually just proving that they don't understand what the person is actually suggesting, because the thing that they're saying is actually contained in the point that they're making.
Yeah. And also, like, they're not patient enough for that point to have been revealed yet.
That's right.
Because I also think, like, that's what I mean, like, the limitations of Instagram. It's like, how do you fit a 40-page research paper into 20 slides? But also hit all of the points so that nobody's mad in the comment section.
I say let them be mad.
1000%.
I say,
but the thing is, some people who get mad are willing to like find where you live and ruin your life because of that post.
Yeah.
And what you don't know.
I'm divinely protected. These are my beliefs.
I love that. No, but I mean, like, for real though, that's both sides need to accommodate. Like, people are not going to like what you have to say all the time. That's okay. And like, if someone's bringing something up that you haven't considered yet, good. Great. Now you have an opportunity. And then the person in the comment section who's really mad could simply choose to not engage. I don't know if people know that that's an option.
Yeah. I think people really want to get away from the discomfort that they feel when they interact with an idea or an analysis or just a point of view that doesn't fully fit into their worldview. That like the gut reaction is like, I need to correct this by like sharing. It's like a way of trying to get away from the discomfort that the new idea presents in the person's body.
Totally.
Then the other thing is like, it's not like you're in a college lecture or something at school where it's like you're being presented with new ideas and this is the only idea that you're being presented with. Do you see what I mean? It's like you're in a classroom, the teacher is presenting you with a new idea that might be challenging to your worldview. It's part of the process of being in that school and that learning environment. But when it comes to social media, we're always being inundated with these new ideas and you can never actually go deep with anything. And you're in an activated emotional state while you're ingesting all of these ideas. And so somebody like you or me could like make a really compelling point because that's what we're really good at. And then people are like, have this big reaction. But then the next video that they see is like a puppy. The next video that they see is like a dead child in Gaza. The next video that they see is somebody saying something that is maybe about self-care or something. And it's like you can't go deep with anything, but then you're also interacting with everything at a level of perception that's not optimal. Because it's like everything that you're experiencing, actually, a way that I would look at this is like, it's like there's the screen of social media that has all of this information that you are gaining access to and consuming. But depending on like your emotional state while you're experiencing all of these things, that in some ways are kind of neutral. Like, I'm not saying that like the dead child in Gaza is neutral, but like all of the information is just like information. And when you consume it, it's like there's a stained glass window that it has a gradient of like blue, yellow, and red. And the red is like you super activated, blue is you super calm. And you're like receiving all of that information throughout that gradient of emotion that is just getting revved up more and more and more into that red zone. Because of depending on how long you're in that space, your relationship to the space. It's like if you're in a bad relationship with somebody who's just pouring emotional energy out at you and you have no boundaries around that, you're going to be pinned down and controlled by your relationship with that person. And so in so many words, I'm actually explaining, you asked me like, what's your relationship with social media? I've had to learn how to have emotional boundaries with the things that I consume with social media, because for the most part, the things that are going viral on social media are things that are emotionally activating. That's how the algorithm works.
That's literally, they want you, that's what I was thinking when you were talking. It's like the more emotional you can be, likely, statistically, the longer you will be engaging with that app.
That's right.
Regardless of what you're watching.
That's right. And, or like the longer you'll watch a video, the more emotionally engaged you are, whether it's anger, whether it's happiness, actually, like you're like, oh, that's so cute. Like I want to watch the whole corgi puppy video, or sadness, outrage. It's probably a big one.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, one of the big things I get from TikTok in particular is like watching a hilarious video and then reading all of the hilarious people that exist in the world in the comments.
People are so funny on TikTok in the comments.
They're so creative. They're like, it's like everyone's a comedian.
It's so funny.
It's so great. And I will be like splitting laughter.
Me too.
In reaction to people's comments.
Me too. It's like once every 2 weeks on Instagram, I'll have an experience. Like,
I can't even tell you the last time I experienced Instagram.
It's so funny to say all this too, because I'm literally an Instagram person and I'm saying all of this stuff. But for me, it's like I feel like I have like a professional relationship with Instagram.
You've said that to me before, that you're like, you clock in.
I clock in and I clock out.
Yeah.
TikTok's where I go to chill and have fun.
But was it always like that with Instagram, or you had to like develop?
No, I had to develop that.
Yeah.
I also think, 5 years ago is when I started broadcasting my opinion on the internet. Instagram was really different.
Yeah, and it was different 5 years before that.
It was much more social. Like, actually, I would see my friends' shit on Instagram. Now I don't see my friends' shit at all. Like, I see you and like maybe like 2 or 3 of my other really close friends, and then the rest of it is like people that I've never met.
Well, that's the thing. So, I wonder what year it is, because Instagram was a place where like you only saw the things of people you followed.
That's right. And then the algorithm changed, I think, in 2018 or 19.
Okay.
To it not being chronological anymore.
Like, yeah. And like
it went
also
from chronological to engagement based.
And it suggested content. Like, I remember regularly like muting that feature for 30 days at a time.
Yeah.
They would.
And now there's no way to get away from it.
No.
There is the followers tab on Instagram. Is that even still there? But like, I don't even.
Right. But that's the thing, is like, for an app that I use so much, I'm almost like asleep to all the features that are like given and taken away. I giveth and taketh away.
Totally.
But, and I was even thinking as you were talking, what an interesting exercise it would be to clock in and only watch 3 videos and then sit down and journal and recall the last 3 videos that you watched. Because I will be honest, it's so likely that I won't remember what the first video was if by the time I watched the third one. Everyone who's listening right now, Hanna's just there with her mouth open.
I might post this on YouTube so people will see my reaction.
Yeah, great.
It's like, you're a genius.
Right, but like think about
it's also like an impossible challenge because it's like eating Pringles.
Yeah, like how many Pringles do you?
Like you're like,
that's a great analogy.
Eat 3 Pringles and then journal about the 3 Pringles you just ate. And people are like, but what if I had another Pringle?
What shape was the first Pringle? Oh, I guess they're all the same shape if we're talking Pringles.
Stuff on the top of my mouth, so
they're in the potato paste, actually.
Oh, but for real though. But like that's why it's kind of like an impossible challenge because, you know, it takes some determination and willpower to close the app and then reflect on what you just consumed.
Absolutely. And I think about like I just watched a video of a guy sitting next to a car accident, and it's like a joke that like you were supposed to call 911 but you have ADHD and you went to like look at your phone.
Oh God.
And now you're like watching a hilarious video and you turn around to show your friends who are like on the road having gotten in a car accident and you're like 911 911 911 got it. Because I think that's how distracted we can really be. Where I will like go to my phone to like add to my grocery list. Mm-hmm. But instead I think, or I like look at some notification I got from an app. Most apps I have notifications turned off. Or I get distracted by like a text message. It's so easy, like distractibility.
Okay, do you want to know my esoteric take on this?
I would love that.
Okay, my esoteric take on this is that the device is evil. No, I'm just kidding. My esoteric take on this is that for whatever reason, cell phones, mechanically, it hits at something in our consciousness. There's just something about the bright candy light screen where part of our consciousness and our awareness will begin to inhabit the device.
Yes.
And so it's like, you can, people, like, if you can run experiments on this, like your consciousness will begin to inhabit the device. So you're not just your body anymore. Part of you is inside of the device. And that's why it's so easy to get distracted by it because you're always plugged into it. Even if it's on like my phone, I actually haven't looked at it in a little while, so I don't feel like my consciousness is inside of it. But like if it's the same thing where it's like, oh, I keep looking at my phone and then I put it down, but like it feels like my brain is still in the device, even though I'm not looking at it. And I've run experiments in myself where I have noticed it takes me about 20 minutes for my consciousness to come back into my body if I've been on my phone for too long.
That's actually quick.
Yeah, but maybe that's statistically for other people. But I've learned this energy. I've like felt this in myself. I need to like, it takes time for my consciousness to come back into myself.
Oh, I think it's spot on. Like for anyone who's seen The Matrix, I literally imagine the smartphone as like the things that are on like the neck and head. And when I go on to my smartphone, I'm plugging in to this like entity, this reality, this environment. Yeah. What I called like the cyber realm in my thesis.
Yeah.
Because it really is like we dream, we wake, we internet. And I will joke that when I'm on my phone for too long, I will make a sound that's like I need to like untether the juice from the phone.
But so when I'm explaining that like part of your consciousness inhabits the device, like does that feel correct in your
You're spot on. You are spot on.
What is it? Can you explain it more? Like how would you explain that experience more?
I would say I think if I were to go into like the attention economy realm, you literally have a digital duplicate that exists in the internet. And that is the data that is being sold from company to company. But it's part of your consciousness. It's not like the whole picture.
Yeah.
Right? So like the conversations that you have, I don't know when's the last time you went on a walk with a friend where neither of you had your phones in your pocket.
Oh.
2002. You know what I mean? So like our phones are gathering data constantly. Where are you? Who are you with? What did they recently buy?
Oh, totally.
What are you talking about?
Or the stuff that people close to you are looking at.
Yes.
And your household.
Like, I will never forget going shopping, and I used like a Shoppers Club card at the grocery store, got in my car and went on Instagram because for whatever reason I needed to be on Instagram with a car full of groceries. And I got an ad for the like essential oil that I had just bought because my Shoppers Club card is connected to my digital duplicate that tells all these companies what I like and what I'm going to buy. So we're augmenting this cyber realm to the things that cause you the most emotional reaction or the most money that you're going to spend.
Yeah, totally.
So I do think, and then like, that's just from like a capitalist,
100%.
You know, more like physical.
Is digital duplicate a term?
It is.
That's a term.
It's like the data set of you that is being sold from company to company. It's your digital duplicate. But it's not you, right? It's like how you interact with the internet is your digital duplicate.
Well, it's what you're... Okay, so something I think about sometimes is that my phone has an experience of me.
Yes.
And so it's almost kind of like, it's what the phone thinks I am.
Correct. And it's like beyond the phone because it's what you buy at the grocery store.
Oh,
it's
that's right.
Movies you watch on all of your streaming services that are connected to your email.
Where you go,
what you listen to on like music, podcasts, what you buy, anything that like where you fly to, you know, like there's just like massive archive of everything you have ever done on the internet. When we were asking Jeeves was not necessarily in the early days storing what kind of questions you...
Well, nobody had that evil idea yet. Right. The evil idea had not been thought yet.
No, I'm always struck by the fact that like the people who created this technology do not allow their children to use it.
Yep. Because
of how insidious it is.
Okay, so, but what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, so then...
What are we doing?
I was just talking to someone recently about, do you remember the Obama phone?
Oh, what, people would get a free phone?
People would get a free phone because think about people who don't have a phone, do not have a smartphone. You are kind of living in a different reality than most people, like a mass population of people. You know, it's like there's Amish people and then there's people with no smartphone and no internet access.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sure it's challenging. And I think about even like raising children who are or are not on the internet or do not have a smartphone. And like, you're kind of like a oddball in a room full of kids who like know what 6-7 means.
Oh my God, Jet's been talking about 6-7.
I don't know.
Jet's been saying it in different languages because she goes to a French school. So she's been saying it in French.
Oh my God.
And also in Chinese. And then I told her she's 10 and she's starting to kind of understand puberty and like sex and stuff. And I was like, oh, do you want me to say it in Swedish? And she was like, yes, say it in Swedish. And I said, sex with is 7 in Swedish, but sex is 6. And she was like, oh. Anyway, and that is a complete aside. But anyway, because
it's the thing is like this is like the pop culture isms that have their like cycle of life, almost like a bacteria that's growing. And suddenly like all these kids what's the purpose of 6-7? They can't name a single... I'm like the bonus parent to someone too, and can't name a single politician, but can tell you like the latest like Italian brain rot or 6-7 or like whatever other thing. She's also like obsessed with skincare at 9 years old.
But also like when we were, I think that there's a morphic field though, because when we were in elementary school, I talked to people about things that were popular in elementary school where I grew up that were probably also popular where you grew up, that were also popular like in Kentucky or like Idaho. And so maybe it's like TV that was doing it and 17 magazine, but like I do think there's almost like this morphic field that like children tap into where it's like the S.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, or like lip smackers.
Everybody knew about the S. How?
Or like the little, if we even go like current generation, our generation, parents' generation, grandparents' generation, those little fortune tellers that you like put on your fingers and you go like pick a number and you
I was watching
7.
Love is Blind last night and they were doing that. It's called a cootie catcher.
Cootie catcher, that's it.
It's the cootie catcher.
Everyone knows about cooties.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah.
Okay, but okay, I was derailing your point. The point that you were making is kind of like the 6-7 phenomena that all of a sudden kids are so tapped into all these things, but then maybe a kid who doesn't have a phone is like, I don't get it, or something.
They literally are like that.
Yeah.
Because child in my house has friend who's like, what is K-pop Demon Hunters? I literally don't know what you're talking about.
That's crazy.
Right? But the thing is, for me at least, I don't know how other people are, but like when I meet adults that are like that, I'm so enchanted by them.
I always say good for you.
Right?
Good for you.
But why good for them?
It's a good question.
Right?
It's like I'm enslaved by my relationship to the device, and you are not. Good for you, sir.
They're like
What's it like being God's favorite?
What's it like not like offering your attention as the offering to the internet?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so that's kind of what I think I get a lot from being on social media. I would be curious.
I know we need to say something better. We're painting a bleak picture, which is true. It's part of the story, but I think
there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues.
Stuff too. Yeah.
Right? So one of the things that we're going to talk about in this course that we're going to teach in January is that tech and screens are a tool.
Mm-hmm.
But also you can't carry the hammer around in your hand all the time. And one of the things I talked about in my like thesis research is this phenomenon of like you put all your objects in your bag when you're going into your house, leaving your car or whatever, but you keep your phone in your hand. Just in case something happens between the car and the house door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's how tethered we've become to the cell phone. And so I get a lot from social media, but I think the sacrifice in some ways is like there was this era, and I don't even think it's like media was absent, but people got to sit with the material and the reactions for longer sets of time than what you're saying, like I'm scrolling from blue to yellow to red.
Well, it's like even watching cable TV growing up, we still get inundated with ads. That's actually worse now. But it's like there'd be a commercial break. And you could think about like, oh my God, like there's some sort of cliffhanger that we just got. And now we're going to like get up and go in the other room and get some popcorn or go to the bathroom while we wait for the show to start again. It was a completely different pace of consuming entertainment or a story, a plot, these sorts of things.
Yeah. I also always think about Jean-Michel Basquiat, the painter. So he used to paint while listening to the radio and watching TV. And he would say that he always needed some like source material to paint. And that was like in the 80s. So like, I don't think that it's like the acceleration of technology that has, I really do think there's this like energetic pulse. Like if we talk about consciousness, I think about places that are like big cities like New York or LA, Hong Kong, that are like the pulse of the city is hard not to be influenced by in your like shoebox apartment. Right? And the pulse of nature can be maybe predominantly like a little slower. Like the influence of an ecosystem is not like 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So I wonder if like our nature as human beings is just like the candy screen is a great terminology for it, because it really is just like blood sugar spikes, emotional spikes.
Well, it's interesting, this example with Basquiat, because you're sharing a story. I mean, I don't know his whole life story, but you're sharing a story about somebody who was in correct relationship with how he finds inspiration. And I think that social media, if somebody is in correct relationship or an aligned relationship with that person, so to speak, of Instagram or TikTok, you go there to get inspired, to get new ideas, to learn about things, to connect with people, to share your own perspective. I think people consume more than they create, and that's a big problem energetically.
Yes.
But like, he understood, I get something out of that stimulated environment. He probably, I mean, from a human design perspective, I'm like, oh, did he have like an open head center or something? Like, that's like a very like open head center sort of.
Yeah, you'll have to link his chart.
I will link the chart. But anyway, but that's correct for him. Right. And so he understood that, and he created a whole career out of that approach. But I don't think that people are wakefully choosing to use social media as something that could prop them up. And I feel like the way that I am now interacting with social media as far as my creation side of it, because I have the consumption side and I have the creation side. And for me, my voice that I've been using a lot is just trying to wake people up into taking action. And I can only do so much, because I could say, like, you need to do XYZ thing. You need to get your shit together, in so many words. You need to get inspired. You need to take your trauma and turn it into a piece of art. And that could really inspire someone for a second, but they'll move on to the next video. But hopefully I become an earworm for them.
Right.
And, they kind of get the message.
You make me think, actually, because I know there's a lot of people on the internet like you, like me, who are like using it as a marketing tool to connect with the people that want our services, want our offerings, want our gifts that we're offering the world. But I do think, whether we're consciously doing it or not, we capitalize on people's inability to integrate.
Yep.
Like, I probably don't need to invest in one more course. I probably could spend the next 5 years just doing the thing. It's probably not the right thing to talk about when we're trying to talk about a course that we're doing in January. But I think it's the consciousness that we're trying to stoke in people is, I would say the person who's like really not spending their money consuming media and uses the library and uses things like Libby, but is maybe still on the internet, but it's like a different, like, they're not spending their money to do it. I also think that's kind of an impressive way of life right now. Like, I actually sometimes wonder how much money I have wasted just buying things, consuming, being a consumer. Like, for a while, I also, like, especially working from home, it was like going shopping was like a way to self-regulate and like be out in the world and like look at things.
I used to do that too.
And it was like to the point that I was like, I'm not getting anything from this, actually. It's like a really bad consumption habit on every level, like food, shopping, internet, media, relationships. Yeah, it's really like the hungry ghost.
Yeah, I think it's like outsourcing our own capacity to gain knowledge in a way that is slow and correct for us, by just saying, like, oh, if I just keep reading about this thing or learning about this thing and just kind of shoving it all in my brain, that's how I will learn or something. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Because
also learning how to study is a process.
Yeah, that's the image that I was getting, because when you were describing the person who's maybe using Libby or like going a little bit slower or something, to me, that's somebody who understands that, like, gaining knowledge on a subject is a long con. It's a big commitment.
Completely.
And it's going to take a long time. I'm even like having that experience with human design, where it's like I'm like in this process of knowing that it's going to be 3 years from now, I'm going to be like, okay, I fully have a handle on this. You know what I mean? And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Like, that's the agreement. That's how it works.
Should be. Well, in some things, you know, I even think about like how long people stay in medical school to then go to a residency, to then be like a supervised attendant, to that, you know, like, good, thank God.
I know.
Because the nuances of what it takes to actually be like a specialized practitioner is a lifelong process.
For sure.
And so I want to have the patience and capacity to be a beginner in things that is not a 30-day program to changing everything, blah, 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 blah. In fact, when I teach courses or I teach one-on-one or teach classes, I wish people would email me 60 days later.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And be like, this is what I got from it.
Totally.
Like, I would love that so much. Email me a year later and be like, I just rewatched. I finally finished because I didn't do the third class.
Like it's conflict school.
Or whatever. Exactly.
Totally.
Like, I just finally finished the conflict workbook. And this part isn't sitting well with me. It didn't work for me. Or this part I really liked. Or like literally just like let me know what the integration process is actually like, because most of the time what I hear is I actually didn't finish it. Or I haven't gotten into it yet. I read the first 10 pages.
Totally.
You know,
here's another problem. People read the first 10 pages and they're like, I understand the book.
Oh my God.
That's the issue with social media. People read the first 10 pages, having a new idea, and they're like, now this is my whole worldview.
I had a friend. I was like going to go do a weekend course in something. And they were like, can't wait for you to teach the class on that. After a weekend course? I would just be regurgitating the things that were said in the course. I have to like learn it.
Totally.
At least that's my, you know, it's my like personal worldview on things.
One line.
But I'm like very skeptical of the like, I got certified in this thing in a 30-day program, and now I'm the expert. It's like, go teach it, but you're probably going to teach it badly for a little bit.
You're going to teach it badly, and you're going to learn all of the holes in your knowledge through the questions that people ask, through the problems that they're having. So if you want to trial and error that process of learning, go off, but it might be really fucking embarrassing.
Totally. But it's also like, for me, the internet and this like screen time relationship that we're talking about reveals a lot of like the cultures that I wish existed, like a culture around like delight in the gaps of your knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that author. I've never heard of bean soup theory.
Yeah, totally.
You know, what is anti-intellectualism?
Yeah, I actually I posted a joke reel a few weeks ago that was like, life is like a Caucasian drum circle. You really want everyone to play at the same beat, but it never seems to happen. Mm-hmm. And I use that word Caucasian because Instagram will shadow ban me if I say white people. And I also associate Caucasian with like a derogatory term for white people. That was my understanding. Like I heard like people say like it's Caucasian behavior when they're talking about white people. Mm-hmm. I was wrong. And then my 7, who's been on this podcast before, commented and was like, oh, actually the Caucasian is the caucus people of this place. And I was like, I had no idea. I literally didn't know. And then I pinned their comment and I was like, thank you. I'm going to keep this up here so other people can see. But I had no idea. Yes. That like blew my mind.
But I love stuff like that because it allows us the opportunity to actually create a whole picture. You know, what I like about your work in teaching spirituality is like, we are all a different vantage point for God, which creates a more whole picture of the human experience.
Yeah. Totally.
And so my algorithm is never going to show me the whole picture of the human experience.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, totally.
There's a lot of
I think your algorithm is the whole picture of the human experience.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually a mirror of you.
Yes.
It's just showing you.
I don't know if I'm just seeing people get canceled less, or if I'm always interested in people's critique. Mm-hmm. Point blank, I am like, I love, you know this about me. I love poking holes in something. I love finding where things don't make sense, aren't conveyed correctly, or like wholly, or like things just don't I don't have the context correct to understand what you're saying or what you're showing me, etc.
Yeah.
I also have had to build resilience for people doing that with my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and finding people who are interested in me knowing more, not interested in belittling me for what I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But the folks on the internet who've created an entire personality around just like posting receipts of how shitty people are, I feel really apprehensive about that. Which is not to say some people don't rightfully deserve to be critiqued. I'm thinking of like 7 celebrities off the top of my head.
That's right.
I do not consume their shit anymore because it's like, I'm not interested in the view that you are putting out there. But when it comes to like the common person, I just think one of the cultures we do have is how to vilify each other. And like a lot of material on who to hate and why to hate them. And why to like never give them the time of day.
Totally.
And it's
well,
not
also
everyone's
it's like
bad.
weird because also sometimes people get even more power after they get canceled. And the thing that people are trying to, it's a really interesting topic. The thing that people are trying to do is to deplatform the person so that they don't have as much reach and influence. And then people go through the process of getting canceled and getting deplatformed. But then on the other side of it, somehow it's like good for their career somehow, because there's this whole other group of people that are like, what happened to you is wrong, or like cancel culture is not the optimal way to handle these things or whatever. And so it seems like it backfires.
Yeah, I see its intention and purpose, and I think that is an interesting thread to follow. Like, I don't think canceling is inherently bad, but it's like, again, it's the how.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with like, a lot of folks have this worldview of like, everyone deserves a seat at the table, everyone deserves until your worldview challenges mine, or you haven't been introduced to the same set of information as me, or and I think the culture of the internet stokes us toward impatience for the like arc of that person's potential redemption. I don't know, potential, because I do think, again, people are rightfully deplatformed.
I think people are rightfully deplatformed. And then I think there's other things where people are just grasping for straws of control to try to fix a global issue by deplatforming people for just having even a vague association with the so-called enemy. And I feel like a lot of that happened after October 7th, where people would literally be trying to cancel people who like knew an Israeli person. It's like, what? And I even had an experience, maybe it was like a year ago or like 8 months ago or something, where somebody included me in a list of people who were following Elika Laban, who's an Iranian activist. And I follow her. She gets on my nerves. I think she's fucking annoying, actually. And she's not at all critical enough of the state of Israel. But I follow her because I am interested in multiple perspectives.
Correct.
And one of the reasons why I followed her initially, she only got more and more annoying as she got more famous. But I started following her because I found the Iranian perspective on the Palestinian struggle, on the state of Israel, to be this kind of secret third thing. And I'm always interested in the secret third thing. I'm always interested in, like, what are all of the ways that are people... I was interested in Egyptians' point of view on the Palestinian struggle. I was interested in Jordanians' point of view on the Palestinian struggle, not just the thing that's happening. I was like, what are all of the other countries that surround this conflict feeling about this? What are these people thinking? And so that's why I was following her, because she was making good points about Islamic extremism. And I was like, okay, interesting. But just because I'm following her doesn't mean anything. If you look at my following list, it doesn't mean shit. All it's going to tell you is that I'm interested in looking at every side of a situation. I'm interested in hearing different voices. How else am I going to form a clear opinion about something if I don't know what the opposition thinks? People don't get this. I feel passionate about this right now. I don't know if you can feel
I think
that.
it's great.
It's like,
I think it's so great. I was criticized at one point. I was reading like the biography of George Bush. simply because I much like I live in New York and went to recently Oklahoma, which is where Hanna and I saw each other in person. And I had all these perceptions of what it was going to be like in Oklahoma because the only thing I'd heard about is a Yankees perspective of Oklahoma.
Totally.
I was so wrong. In Tulsa for 3 days.
Yeah,
So it's like a taste.
wrong about Tulsa.
You know what I mean? But like, I do think there's something to be said for like, read the book of the person you hate. Get it from the library if you really like, I don't want to buy that book and support the okay, there's other ways to like consume the media, but like I really don't think, I don't know, the danger of the echo chamber is definitely one of the like branches of issues
100%.
online. And that like I am so guilty of being like, you're following Donald Trump?
Oh, totally.
You're following RFK? Like, what the fuck is that about? You know what I mean? But like,
Totally.
and my second thought is like potentially more mature self that is in my brain of like, what if you actually reached out to that person to ask them,
Hey, yeah,
why are
instead
you
of just
following this person?
including me in a list of people, like, what if you just emailed me or DM'd me and were like, hey, I noticed this about you.
They didn't reach out to you at all?
I don't remember what happened afterwards.
Okay.
Oh, no, I think I responded and I said, hey, like, you know, I understand your concern. I follow Elika because I'm interested in the Iranian perspective on the conflict/genocide that is occurring. That is the reason why. And if you have an issue with me wanting to have a full spectrum view of what's going on, that's something for you to look at. In so many words. I'm not going to stop being like that. That's how I am.
Yeah, you're bringing up something that's really like kind of scratches at me.
What is it?
Sometimes. Because I feel like I need to like literally be like Gollum at the side of the pool right now. I went to school to study peace and conflict transformation. And from a peace studies, peace educator, peacemaker perspective, I have to have the endurance and resilience and tolerance and understanding for a perspective I don't agree with. And I also lean very left politically. But there's this like, you know, your neutrality is complacency and you're complicit in the violence. And I do think that's probably to some extent true. But I think just as like the people who are in the streets have their purpose and the people who can't be in the streets for whatever reason,
like from an activist point of view,
from an activist point of view, are not lesser than. It's just that they are a different role in the wheel of activism. And the whole wheel being filled is how we get there. So perhaps my role is more like having conversations with the folks who disagree with my actual opinion. But especially like being a facilitator in conflict, I have to develop skills to be neutral between these two people and facilitate their unification in some way.
Totally. Yeah, I actually think that's one of the best ways for us as white women or as a white presenting woman, as far as you go. But like for us, it's like that's actually one of the best ways for us to use our privilege is to have conversations of this nature because it's we just experience it a little bit differently than somebody who's like talking to their oppressor or talking to their aggressor more directly.
My God. Like literally don't.
And no, literally don't. Let me handle it. I'm fine having a hard conversation with somebody with a very different perspective than me. I can hold that.
Yeah.
I can hold.
And I mean, I'm also a person who sometimes goes home and like rants. I will like literally just like fucking journal to the point that like my pen is ripping through the piece of paper because I'm so angry at the thing that just happened in the conflict that I actually have nothing to do with. My role is facilitator.
Totally.
You know, but like then I become a person who has an opinion who's like, I can't fucking believe they just said that. Like, oh my God, it's so problematic of you. Da, 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 da. Like, we can't even get to a resolution because there's 6 different things that need to happen for you as a person before you actually understand the harm that you are causing to the level that is necessary for true repair. You know, like, and I get a lot of flack for people who are like, oh, peace is stupid. It's like a word that is correlated with inaction.
Yeah, or kind of like white hippie energy.
Completely. Just a smelly deadhead that like is like peace and love, man. But my consistent thing is like peace is hard.
Peace is hard.
Is effort. Peace is like endurance for conversations you do not want to have, where you are asking questions with answers you do not like. And those we can't repair in the comments section. And if I'm making an assumption about someone, I want to be able to message them 3 times and have every single message go unanswered before I dub them as someone unwilling to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Instead of just like snapshot, perception, here's your portfolio of thought. You know, not every single, I don't know. You can't capture someone's full perception and nuances about conversations in a way that is kind of just inhuman. Like it's just a paper that you're reading online. It's a carousel. It's even a 10-minute video is not going to hit the level of nuance that we need. You need 3 to 15 years.
Yes.
But also so then the opposite thing. How do we deal with that in a world that like, I don't know if I can wait 3 years to fully understand that topic.
Well, I also think a lot of people who don't know who they are telling everybody else who to be. And so you're asking, like, what do we do about this? I think a lot of people have no clue who they are, have no interest in actually figuring that out, probably because it's scary. And so I think the thing that people need to do is really get close with them and themselves. I mean, you were saying, like, I need to get Monica back from the consciousness of my phone. Was that before we hit record or after? I don't remember.
But I think it was after.
Like, just like, you know, it's like I lose the plot of who I am if I'm on my phone for too long.
Or if I'm around people for too long.
Or if you're around people for too long.
And it's both, right? Because you also want belonging in community. Like me being part of a group, part of a family, part of friendship, etc. That gives me identity.
Totally.
Which is important.
Totally.
But me saying myself also contributes value.
Totally.
And identity to that community as a whole. I actually just read an interesting take about we need to stop reference. Someone was like, I'm self-restricting using the word community in relationship to anything happening online.
Wait, can you say that another way?
They consider community to only be in person. So they have like their experiment for themselves right now is that community does not exist online.
Wait, is that a new thing that they're exploring?
I think that's a thing that they're exploring.
Oh, that's kind of
Again, I couldn't know for sure because it was one post. You know? But I thought it was interesting because I do think it's my initial reaction was it's incorrect. Community definitely happens online because I immediately considered disabled people.
100%.
So disabled people who can't leave their bed just don't have community despite feeling deep belonging online
100%.
somewhere.
100%.
I don't know. So, you know, it's already like I'm poking holes, but well, I do.
For whatever reason, that's correct for that person to be exploring it for themselves.
And I think there's validity to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think one of the things that, you know, you're saying like 5 years ago, Instagram was different and it was much more social. We were inside 5 years ago.
That's true.
Instagram was a tether to community. And I wonder if the social change that took place would have been as effective if we weren't all online so much to stay connected to each other. You know? So it's not black and white like what we're talking about. There's gray abound.
Gray abound. Yeah, I think that if I were to play around with this idea of this person who is exploring the idea of community is only in real life or off screen, something that makes sense for me with that is in such a text-based interaction space, such as phone, social media, texting, not voice notes, and not talking on the phone. So anything that's not like a voice note or talking on the phone or seeing somebody's face move, for me, there's an inherent non-relational aspect to that because you can't hear somebody's tone of voice, you can't see their facial expression, you can't feel their energy in their words. And so I do think that like when we have a lot of arguments in the comment section or people are criticizing each other through DMs and stuff, it's like you automatically are kind of on high alert for a threat because you cannot actually hear the intention behind somebody's words. And maybe people can write that like, I really respect you and I see you as like a person whose opinion really matters to me. And I'm just wondering why XYZ. That's like one way to kind of set up the text interaction. But I think that like it's inherently non-relational to only interact with people at the surface level of texting. And obviously, I mean, we're talking about like disabled people. Maybe there's people where they've never heard a tone of voice because they're deaf or something. But I would say for the majority of the population, those cues of sounds and body language and eye movement are part of how we feel safe talking to one another. And when that's not there, it's like people are just perpetually kind of like wondering, like, what is this person? Whenever I hear about people who are like, I'm having an argument with this person over text message, I'm like, why? Would you waste your life force doing that? I refuse to do that.
Ugh. I have someone in my life who like exclusively talks about important things over text.
Don't.
Oh, it's so challenging.
Doing that.
So challenging for me.
People need to stop fucking doing that.
Yeah. If you have the option to like have a conversation, wait to have a conversation.
It's
notice your reaction.
Anxiety and discomfort that propels them to do that because they can't sit with the discomfort. Whereas the argument could actually go somewhere very fruitful if you guys were on FaceTime, on the phone, in person, ideally. But that's not always possible. Like,
no.
Jesus.
If we're texting and something important needs to be said over text, I will be voice noting you.
Yes.
And usually it's a voice note that says part 2 in person and or on the phone.
That's right.
Is important here. But so I'm curious because I have so many things to say because I do think when we practice presence and keeping a tether to yourself, being in right relationship with yourself, my theory is that we have more patience and we move more slowly and you notice the reaction. So when you say like texting, are we talking like just text, like reading text on a screen? Because I think about what was once like people built entire relationships and then families over letter writing.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
But it's like a letter is often long and like
and you have
emotive
to edit, and then you have to think about your response.
Yep. And for a long time it was like that'll take a week or two to get to that person.
Yes.
And then it'll be a week or two until it comes back to me.
Yes.
So a month has passed since I wrote that thing.
Yes, and maybe you feel differently now, or it hits a little bit different.
Yeah. Like, is that the efficacy of letter writing? And because it's like texting and emailing is so instantaneous that it's not as...
Well, I mean, this is us just like waxing philosophical about this idea, but like the difference cognitively between writing journaling and typing journaling.
Correct.
Do you think there's a difference? You're more of a journaler than me. Will you speak on this?
Well, you said it kind of that I need to hear someone's voice and tone. And I'm curious if my hand writing a thing encapsulates energy in a similar way. Like, I don't know, but that was my curiosity.
Like if that's like transmitted to the reader, if they can see your handwriting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's more personal.
I think it's a little like... I love technology. As I sit here, I'm staring at you on my laptop. My desktop's behind that. My phone's in another room. I have an iPad. I have a TV. You know, like I'm not headed toward being a monk about that sort of thing. But I do think that we've spun out a little bit when it comes to the technology that the human form can really digest.
Yeah.
Like the nutrients have been adopted into my body.
Yeah.
From the
Right now
digestion.
we're like pooping out partially digested mushrooms.
Absolutely.
That's a really gross image, but I mean,
the greens are in the toilet with us.
The whole kernels of corn.
Absolutely.
Whole kernels of corn.
Things are not being digested. You posted something about this recently.
Did I?
About digestion.
Oh yeah.
You were talking to one of your clients one-on-one.
Oh yeah, spiritual practice is a probiotic.
Yeah.
And a prebiotic.
Right? But I think that's what we're talking about. Like when you integrate something, you have digested it.
That's right.
It has become a part of you, and likely you're digesting it over and over and over and over again. That is what we talk about when we talk about integration.
That's right.
I know that this food does a good job on my body.
That's right.
That what I'm consuming works.
Yeah.
And so, when I think about like letter writing, if we were to follow that thread, you used to be like writing in your letter, like, meet me at the watering hole under the full moon.
And I'll put my hand up your pantaloons. Sorry.
Pantaloons. But I wonder about like that being the cycle that people are willing to wait for. Whereas right now, like if I don't hear from someone for a month,
yeah,
I'm like, if you hate me, just say that.
That's right. But that's also the precedent. The quick, right? It's like everybody knows you're looking at your phone. Why aren't you responding? I know that you've been on your phone today. Why aren't you responding?
Right.
Whereas like the man galloping the mail across the prairie to your husband fighting in a civil war,
yeah,
it's a different precedent.
Yeah. Or even just like before the written word, Hawaiian people didn't really have written language. Your message would travel and you had to trust the storyteller.
Shit, that's so interesting.
Right? So it's part of the reason I'm like very like, we keep memory and we keep memory correctly.
Uh-huh.
I'm not imbuing my opinion on the memory.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Ooh, so memory is not an unreliable narrator from that point of view.
I question if memory is a reliable narrator.
Well, there's one thing to memorize something, and it's another thing to remember something. Don't you think?
Absolutely. And then am I remembering one person's account or am I remembering a people's account?
Oh, totally. Whoa.
Right? And so I think that's one of the things that we see through our screens is what we're talking about, like Gaza. The people's perspective is pretty inarguable.
That's right.
I think about the collective peoples that are sharing what's happening there.
That's right.
Right? But then you want me to talk about it online, and it's like, I would like to get into a group of people who meet once a week for the next 3 years and talk about that.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we have to figure out how to get humanitarian aid.
Yeah.
It's like a really big deal. So I'm like, yeah, let's move slow. It's like this very romantic idea. And sometimes we can't afford to move slow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so again, gray abound.
Yeah.
And I'm like grateful for the access to screens for stories that I would never otherwise be exposed to.
100%.
Memory kept through imagery and like video is like, how exactly would you like to argue this? Mm-hmm. Especially as we like, one of the things we haven't even talked about is like AI.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And people like my poor mother will send us things that I'm like, oh, haha, AI is crazy nowadays, ain't it? It's like, that this.
I know. My Star Trek dad is so excited about AI. But I think he's too trusting in it because he thinks it's like Data in Star Trek. Like that the robot guy. I'm using my words bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he thinks it's like perfect. And so everything that ChatGPT says is the truth. And I'm like, okay, hold on, Pops. We got another 200 years, maybe, if we're lucky. Before it's our friend, first of all. Before it's on our team. You know what I'm saying? You pick it up.
What? So complicated. Yeah.
Well, okay, this thing that's like really sticking out to me in this conversation is being in right relationship with self as a prerequisite to having a good relationship with social media, because it's the same thing with being in a human relationship with another person. You're going to be in the best relationships of your life when you're in right relationship with yourself. That's just, it's indisputable.
Mhm.
That's literally just the way that it works. And so
Mhm.
I think that something that's very important for people is for them to really see true self exploration and understanding as something that they should take extremely seriously, and recognize that social media can be a place where they learn things about themselves that they never knew before. So, like, for
Mhm.
instance, like if you are a queer kid who grows up in the middle of Montana or some shit and you've never seen another queer person, and you go on social media and you see all of these people who look like you and act like you and feel like you and talk like you, that's a transformative experience for you. So you
Mhm.
could go on social media and learn something about yourself, and that could be very profound. But it's like you have to balance the scales of like how much are you taking in that is really not correct for you. That's leading you astray from who you are and what it is that you really want to do in this world, and take some of that self exploration offline. In fact, I think the majority of it probably should be offline, but that's just my opinion. But I think that under self understanding is extremely important, because sometimes people, I actually got this feedback today. I had a consultation with somebody and they were like, I really like following you because I can tell that you're so self possessed and confident,
Mhm.
and like
Mhm.
you're kind of solid in your point of view and who you are. And that's kind of, I don't really feel that in myself. And so I'm interested in talking with you because I'm curious how you got there. And from my point of view, it's like, I don't want anyone to be like me necessarily, but I think that we all could do with becoming more self possessed. We could all could do with
Absolutely.
understanding, because you're sick, because it's like, there's all these fires to put out in this world. And I think for me, I understand which fires I'm here to put out.
Mhm.
And it's hard for me to be pressured to put out fires that are not my fires to put out.
Mhm.
The fires that I'm putting out are very important to me. I'm very interested in putting out the fires of conflict, like this thing that we taught about. I'm very interested in helping people be better relators, because isn't that like 90% of our experience if we're not just bed rotting in our room for 15 hours a day?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that important? Like, if you want a peaceful world, we have to learn how to find peace with our friends. You think we're going to find peace by arguing with each other on the internet when you can't even like ask your roommate to do the dishes? So, like, that's the hill I'm dying on.
Mhm.
And I feel very confident in that. So I don't feel swayed by people that are like really trying to get me to care about other fires. It's like, it's a big fire that we're all throwing fucking buckets of water on. Let me take my section of the forest fire and pour my buckets on it, and you
Mhm.
take the other section.
Mhm.
And
It's so
so,
funny to hear you say this, knowing you as like one of my dear friends, because people may have found you and like know you as like the version of Hanna that they know is a spiritual coach and a relational coach. And maybe you don't talk about your political perspective online as much, or like the ways that you've like influenced toward these like big systemic movements. But I know that in order to refine the fires that you know you are here to put out, you actually have contributed to other fires. Like you talk about environmentalism and how you had this like big moment in your life where suddenly you were like, oh, wow, climate catastrophe is like upon us.
oh, that was a major thing for me when I was in
Yeah.
my
And
early
you spent
20s.
like 10 years contributing toward that. You like owned a landscaping business that was like how to make gardens sustainable for a
Low
climate that's like
water.
high desert.
Yeah. Low water gardening.
Right. So like when people come at you who have like never messaged you, never interacted with you and are like, where's your political opinion about this thing? And meanwhile, you're like doing your own self-research of like 7 different global perspectives on one very major conflict. And then you'll like voice note me about what you're digesting from all of those
That's
perspectives.
right.
But then you don't post about it because you're clocked into your job
Yeah.
on Instagram.
This is my job.
So the digital duplicate that you've created on Instagram is very like in her lane. So it's just like a very interesting, I feel like responsible for highlighting to anyone who's listening.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That there's a much more complete picture behind the person who has now become very confident and very refined. And like, if I think about when we were graduating college, the questions that you had about your career have grown to become the level of confidence that you have. You've always been a confident artist. You've always been a confident, like, I don't know what you would call yourself. Herbalist, farmer, gardener?
Totally. Earth enjoyer.
Yeah.
Steward the land.
What did you call yourself for a while?
Oh, I call myself a horticultural futurist.
Yeah. And you're like a poet scientist.
Yeah, there's a lot more to me than just yelling at people to, take responsibility for themselves.
And talk to your roommate about doing
and talk to your roommate about doing the dishes.
Actually, I thought about
fire I'm putting out. I think the thing that you're highlighting is that I have refined the fire that I'm putting out.
Right.
But I'm interested in all of the fires. I just don't need to waste my vital life force trying to talk about all of the fires because it's actually just confusing for other people too.
Yes. And you're actually creating change toward the fires that you're paying attention to.
That's exactly right.
Right? And then you're not criticizing other people who are not focused on the same fires as you.
Totally. Because I get that, like, everybody's here to do something.
Yes.
Everybody's here to do something.
So I just think it's important to name, because what Instagram tells me when I log onto it is like, if you are not posting about or talking about this thing, you're a bad person.
Yeah. I divest from that.
Same. And I try not to criticize people because a lot of people are doing shit they're not posting about on social media.
To 100%. I'm having conversations with people about the world like 10 hours a week.
Yes.
Off screen. I have to stay plugged in. I'm on the toilet reading Reuters every morning. Not because I like want to, but because I need to know what's going on. Because I'm having conversations with people all week about what's going on. And if I don't know what's going on, that's going to be kind of weird. Isn't it?
Yeah. But so how do we curate this thing that we interact with all the time, the internet and or screens, to be contributive toward the fires that we want to put out? And I would argue / really encourage everyone to like soften your heart toward everyone. Everyone. People you do not like. You don't think I was just driving behind someone today that had a thick girls taste better in a Dodge sticker next to her American flag sticker, next to her Punisher logo sticker. I had assumptions about who that person was.
That's a combo.
10,000% was like, girly pop, this is a lot. This is a lot of broadcasting. Okay? And in that, I'm like, and you still deserve water, and you deserve for your bills to be paid. And I hope that you scramble into some sort of like relationship where someone has an opinion that helps wake you up. I am being woken up every day by people in my life. And I've learned who's interested in, bringing me perspectives that like make me more accepting and kind. And like, my consistent question to everyone is like, when the internet and the grid go down and we're sparse on running water, are you going to ask who someone voted for before you give them clean water?
That's right.
If your answer is yeah, I would love to talk to you. I'm genuinely like so curious.
Let's talk.
And not in like, fuck you, you have the wrong perspective, but like, I'm always like, maybe my opinion could be swayed in this conversation.
Totally.
I don't know.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, yeah. We've all, in our own ways, been led astray from unity consciousness. And that's going to sound really hippie bullshit, but it's true.
Yeah. We're sitting around a tree together.
Yeah. Like, we've all been duped.
Yes.
And some of us have been, the duping has felt less so because we've been, like, speaking just for the white experience, like, we've been deemed as, like, better than. So the dupe is less of a dupe for us, supposedly, even though that's not true for everyone. But we're all duped. We've all been duped.
Oh my God. White people, you've been duped.
We've been duped
You don't
actually probably the most because we believe we haven't been duped. But
correct.
it's like everyone at the bottom of the racial ladder is like, yeah, we've been duped this whole time. And white people are like, we're not duped. Like, it's like embarrassing. But we've all been duped.
So embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
One of the gifts of my life is growing up on the island of Oahu, being faced with what it is to have a Hawaiian dad and a white mom, and what Hawaiian people suffered at the hands of white people from the time I was like 4 years old. Gift of my life. I think I actually moved there when I was 3, and we moved home for my dad and to a different place for my mom. Like, you put yourselves in situations where you are the person who needs to literally be quiet and listen. Go on the internet and don't comment on anything. Watch 3 videos and write down what those 3 videos make you feel. Like, move. To some extent, I want people to, maybe the thing is, like, find the lane of which you can move at an accelerated pace, and that's actually helpful to move quickly. And then there's another lane where I think a lot of us could afford to slow the fuck down in how we are reacting versus responding to things, how we are understanding things. If we even have the whole picture, like sometimes news cycles happen and I'm like, I think I need to wait 72 hours for like the details to come up in this thing. So yeah, it just feels like a big deal. And put yourself on a set of the internet that feels bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love you.
Yeah, I
am a big proponent of expanding your algorithm. I think a lot of people are so afraid of being corrupted by the opposition that they don't even want to look at it. But that's a form of mental fragility that you need to confront in yourself. If you are afraid of looking at the opposition because you think it's going to corrupt your mind, you're weak. I mean, that sounds really bad, but it's like you need to look at that. You need to, yeah. And it's probably because you don't, this is what I'm saying. We're going right back to this like sense of self, who you are. I don't really feel like I can be corrupted. I might be a little bit delusional about that, like a little bit, because there's probably stuff where I am corrupted for sure. But it's like I feel so strong in who I am and how I choose to experience life that I'm not worried about like other points of view like corrupting me or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a spicy take, but
I think it's a great take.
If you have a weak sense of self, of course you're going to be wary of other views because you might adopt it. You might end up down some pipeline. And this is the thing that happens to people. It's true. Like the QAnon to the crunchy hippie to QAnon pipeline. We remember 2020? That was
there were so many. Absolutely.
You know?
And QAnon has now taken like a new form. You know, and some people would say like people on the left are weak-willed and weak-minded.
Totally.
Like I again, like as soon as a school of thought is telling me who to hate, I'm like, I don't know about this.
Totally.
And I'm a little bit more like of a sponge when it comes to like my willingness to listen to people and have compassion for them. But it's something I'm really finding within myself that like I have some strong opinions about things.
Yeah.
That I'm not willing to waver on.
That's right.
And it doesn't, for the internet, the biggest fear I have on the internet is like the things I'm Googling will like be understood in a digital duplicate way of like, this woman is turning to a bad way.
You mean as far as the government's concerned?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, that we're like under a regime of fascism.
Yeah, that's right.
That's my biggest fear. I'm not like going to be corrupt. It's so not off the table.
That's what they do in Russia.
Yeah.
China.
That's part of the reason my sessions with people I call empowerment sessions. Not because I'm like trying to like so empower you, girly pop, but like kinda. I want you to be tethered to who you are as a person and like be boundaried. And be like a little ruthless in your boundary, especially when we're talking about relationship.
100%. People need to get ruthless, especially in the beginning. of
romance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like if you have a friend for 10 years who actually fucking hates you, look at that.
Yeah, what does that say?
Why are you allowing that person in your world? And so one of the things I have on my like personal Instagram is that my personal Instagram is for people that I'm not going to hide from in the grocery store. Because the people, if I'm hiding from you in the grocery store, it's because I don't want you to know anything about me. So why would I let you follow me? Just like as soon as I'm like following someone for the hateration of it, where I'm like just interested in like judging you, I will unfollow you. Because why do I want to follow you just because I am going to criticize every single thing that you do?
It feels good to be right.
Ugh, I'm so on it. I'm like literally actively working on putting my self-righteousness down.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it benefits literally anyone, actually. I'd be curious to find like my self-righteousness is really cool right now. It was really useful. I'm like, no.
My self-righteousness is great, but I don't have any friends.
And like everyone hates listening to me.
Right.
You're like, nah, I'm fucking good on that. What I am interested in, like, it's different. Like someone who's like someone I went to high school with who's become someone that I'm like maybe not like and lives in a way that I don't agree with over and over and over again, and I'm just following them. They're not even actually like informing me. They're just like, I am just a judgment machine. That is the person I'm qualifying as like, you don't need to follow me and I don't need to follow you.
Yeah.
Someone who informs me genuinely, like expands my worldview toward a perspective that I don't understand. Sometimes I'm never going to understand in a way. Like I get it. What is it like to be you? Okay. I don't agree though. I just feel like there's a difference. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think we're kind of interesting. Okay, so I'm going to be annoying and just talk about human design for a second because I want to make an amendment.
We almost made it the whole
podcast with me talking about human design, and I want to just tap myself on the shoulder for holding it in this time. But I want to make an amendment to what I just said about being weak because I have a defined head center in Ajna, and so I'm literally fixed in my thinking, and I'm literally fixed in how I conceptualize things and how I ask questions even, and like these sorts of things, and that is correct for me. It's incorrect for me to be very fixed in my thinking and these sorts of things. I'm definitely open to learning new things. It's not that I'm not open to that. It's just the expression of my mind is more fixed. Whereas you have open head, undefined ajna, and so you literally said I'm more like a sponge. And that's true, and that's correct for you. You're supposed to be the sponge, and the people with the undefined head and ajna, the work for you is to have better boundaries with which ideas are mine and which ideas are coming in, and actually being able to tell the difference between those things. Whereas the work for me is being more open-minded, actually. The work for me is being more open-minded. However, we're all conditioning each other. And so in my way of speaking of like, you're weak if you think you're going to be corrupted by the opposition's thinking, there's some truth in that.
I agree.
So like, I'm supposed to be conditioning people with like, you need to be more strong in your thinking. However, everybody needs to use their own authority to feel into themselves to feel like, does that feel right for me though? Does that feel right for me? And so I just wanted to amend that because I don't want people to be like, oh no, am I weak? I'm like, you're a little bit, but I'm also like hard-headed by design. Like this is like literally how I'm supposed to function. So,
but also that's why people like us become friends.
Yes.
Because we end up learning from each other.
Yes.
How to do the thing that we're maybe not so great at.
Totally.
And
I learn from you all the time.
I learn from you all the time. And it completes the picture, right? And like each of us contribute to the wheel in the way that is truest for us, because I can't put out fires in the way that you can put out fires and vice versa. But if each of us were only committed to the way that our algorithm shows us reality, I would be like, Hanna, how you do things is fucking stupid. And you'd be like, Monica, how you do things is fucking stupid.
That's right.
Instead, we refine each other's perspectives as we learn. And then like you and I each go down our hypervigilant rabbit holes of digesting new information. We're like, I was just reading about this thing and I just learned about this thing and I blah, 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 and we like help each other digest.
Yeah.
But also every once in a while we will ask each other a question and say, I think actually it's like this for you. And the other person will say, I don't know if that's right. Because there is a I am me and you are you.
Yeah.
And you see things how you see things and I see things how I see things. For my favorite type of clients are the people who I say, maybe it's actually like this and you should do this. And they're like, I don't know how that really resonates with me because I trust them more.
Yes.
That they're going to tell me.
Yeah, don't people please me.
Don't please, for the love of God. And also if something feels... if something I say feels bad, tell me that it feels bad. Because I know this about myself, I will respond well. Me knowing when I'm not landing correctly is important.
100%.
Just like when we say like, wait, you said something like about cancel culture that I was like, man, if there was a different name for it that like influenced people toward like accountability culture.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we had a system and a culture around accountability. Like, okay, you fucked up.
Yeah.
How do you be accountable for that?
Totally.
You know?
How do we have a discussion about the thing that happened?
Yeah. At one point I joked that I was going to like write a novel about someone who's like in the accountability process, but they're like a shop owner. And because the system of accountability is so strong, there's a way for you to like indicate where you are in the accountability process so people can still like, you can still eat. People can still buy shit at your shop because you're doing the work. But some of you are like not interested if anyone's doing the work. You're interested in making people wrong because it makes you feel good.
Makes you feel like you're doing your part.
Yeah, it's like wrongfully feeding it. You're like taking the worst part of the internet and being like, yeah, got that fucker in the comments section.
Yeah, but no one has ever changed. I mean, maybe this is my defined head, but nobody's ever changed my mind through an argument on the internet. No one's ever changed my mind in the comments section. I've had my mind changed like through conversations, like actual conversations with people.
For sure. So important. Such an important distinction.
For sure. And also, like, I'm also, like, I literally have it baked into my worldview of divine ignorance, of, like, I need to act under the guise of knowledge with the awareness that I know nothing. And so I have it baked into my worldview that I'm open to being wrong. And this is what we were talking about in conflict school. I actually love finding out that I'm wrong. Yeah. I want to know the truth. If you want to know the truth, you have to get comfortable with being wrong.
This is what I'm saying, like the culture of delighting.
That's right.
And I mean, it's not what I'm saying. You're saying this too. There's a way of being that you can adopt when someone genuinely presents you with new information. It's like, yeah, I didn't know that. Or like if people are coming to you in your world and are like, that thing that you said really hurt me, my hope would be, you're like, oh my God, thank you for letting me know. Instead of, well, here's why you shouldn't feel that way.
100%.
Here's why you misunderstood me. Those are the people that are worth breaking up with. Oops.
Monica,
unless you're seeing them do the work. My bad.
Monica said it.
Those are the conversations I have with people.
Yeah, I also have like the potential of being wrong baked into my question asking. Where it's like, I'll be like, if I'm working with a client or something, I'll be like, this doesn't need to be correct for you, or this doesn't need to be true for you, but I'm just wondering if this is what's actually going on with you. So even before I open my mouth with the question, I give them the opportunity to let me know if it feels resonant or not.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not using the right words to describe this thing. I wonder if you have
can you help me understand? There needs to be a drinking game for me saying, I'm just trying to understand you.
Like, I'm just trying to get you.
Can you help me understand what you mean by this? Drinking game. Well, I think that we need to start wrapping this up. The last thing that I want to say, just as a message for the collective, is that please don't be so self-centered in your view of reality that you forget that we're all vantage points within one undulating field of consciousness. Don't be so self-centered in your view and your attachment to this is what reality actually is that you forget that God sees through all eyes at all times, and she is doing her Leela out here in very unique ways. And that your view of reality is not the whole story. For the love of God, Dharma. That's my final lesson.
And you don't have to understand someone else's vantage point to feel that interwoven connectedness.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
in conclusion, get wrong, be accountable, and start to develop cultures of curiosity, even if it's just within yourself, that you move more slowly, more patiently. That you have a practice, especially if you're gonna like be scrolling them TikToks, that you stay tethered to yourself. And also, if you do the exercise of like just going to scroll for 3 videos and remembering the first video that you watched and how it made you feel, please email us. We want to know what it's like.
Yes. Tag us.
What is it like to be you?
Tag us on the machine.
Tag us on the machine, and then our machine will talk to your machine.
I'll put my P.O. box. You could write me a letter. I should do that.
It's not a bad idea. I love.
It's a lot to respond to. But anyway, so.
Well, thanks for this conversation, Hanna.
Thanks. Yeah, and we're going to teach a course currently unnamed, but it's cooking in the incubator, about correct relationship with social media. Basically, like, actually a big theme that we're going to discuss is actually self-sovereignty, because right now our attention is being captured while the world is falling apart. And so, have a spin on like, how do we face what's happening in the world while we're being captured by a demonic device, in so many words. Do you have anything else to say about it? Is there anything else I'm missing?
I think it's not gonna be just lecture. We're gonna give you some tools on how to like practice different ways to be in relationship with this thing.
That's right.
And hopefully reclaim your attention and your time.
Yeah.
And your resources.
Reclaim your attention, reclaim your life, but don't ditch the whole thing either, because there's so much beauty. I think social media is so healing. If you're creating, not if you're just consuming, if you're creating.
Yeah. And if you're in relationship with it, conscious relationship. So.
Okay, that's it.
Thanks, y'all.
See you guys some other time. Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, fam, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. As a little call to action here at the end, could you do me a favor and rate my podcast on whatever app you're listening to? Give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Give it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That will really help me to have my podcast naturally flow through the algorithmic reality of how people find things in 2025. So I would really appreciate that. And other than that, if you ever want to work with me one-on-one, I actually help people a lot with their boundaries, not just with other people, but with devices through my spiritual counseling and relationship coaching. You can book a session with me on my website. And Monica is also available for one-on-one work, and I frankly think she's a better coach than me, so you should also book with her. So I'll put everybody's information down in the show notes, and keep your eyes out for the sign up for Attention 101 starting in January. We're going to do a 2-week promo where you can bundle your tickets if you come with a friend. So the ticket price will be cheaper for each of you if you buy 2 tickets at once. And then y'all can be accountability partners with this social media boot camp sort of experience that we're going to be setting up for you guys. So hopefully that sounds exciting. And I hope you love this episode. And there will be more, I promise. Goodbye.